What is a dead giveaway of a toxic relationship? Story 1. I just got out of a toxic relationship. The first 6 years were great, but it wasn't until the pandemic hit that he truly began to show his true colors. I'm in therapy right now to cope with a lot of what went down. A dead giveaway of a toxic relationship is a major lack of autonomy. This was something that was a huge problem in our relationship. The first time this ever happened, I should have left right then and there, honestly. My ex and one of my best friends had gotten into a huge fight, and my ex was the one in the wrong. My ex was vehement that I had to take his side. He called my friend an unemployed loser and said I'd be stupid to take their side instead of the person I'm choosing to build a life with. He pressured me to cut them off. My friend messaged me on Facebook that she was really upset, as was I. I told her I was on her side and that I was extremely disappointed in my then SO's behavior, and it honestly did make me question things between us. Well, that very night when I was asleep, my ex took it upon himself to snoop through my laptop and phone. Needless to say, he was furious I wasn't on his side. He called me all sorts of nasty things the next morning and treated me like utter shit until I agreed to cut her off. I was literally manipulated into cutting a decade-long friendship. I was scared to run, scared to ruin what we had built so far, to disappoint my family as we were about to be married. Needless to say, it was another 2 years of gaslighting, manipulation, and emotional abuse with him. Story 2. I found out the other week that my buddy has to send his girlfriend detailed notes with timestamps of legitimately everything he does while hanging out with the guys. 9:14. Went down to the kitchen for a glass of water. 9:15. Stopped to pet the cats before heading upstairs. 9:18. Made it back upstairs and sat on the right side of the couch. Reply 1. Jesus Christ, man, that's just cruel. I'm so sad for him. Reply 2. Me too, man. It's his first relationship ever, and he's completely blind to the massive red flags. We've all tried talking to him about it, and he just won't hear it. Just one of those things he's gonna have to figure out on his own the hard way. Story 3. I had a boyfriend for a brief time when I was in high school that wanted me to write him 3 pages long texts every single night, listing what I liked about him, how wonderful our day has been, how much I loved him, etc. It was a chore, exhausting. If I didn't text him within his requirements, he would get angry and act offended, etc. So that was toxic. When I'm with other people, I can sometimes spot toxic relationships even if I'm not very familiar with the couple. But when there's tension, they're subtly arguing about stuff, especially when one of the two is very careful about everything they say in fear their partner will react badly, well, they're toxic. Wow, that high school boyfriend of yours definitely sounds toxic, and I'm glad that you were able to recognize that and move on. It's absolutely draining to be in a relationship where you're constantly walking on eggshells and catering to someone else's unreasonable demands. Your observation about being able to spot toxic relationships in other couples is spot on. It's often easier to see the red flags in someone else's relationship than in our own. But it's so important to be aware of these signs to help friends or even ourselves avoid getting trapped in a cycle of toxicity. Story 4. No communication and everything is a blame game with no acceptance of responsibility. Reply 1. My ex broke up with me because of this. You can put in all the effort, but it won't mean anything if they don't tell you what's bothering them, or they answer, everything is good. I let my trust get the best of me, I suppose. I would ask if there is something wrong and get that response a lot, even though I had a gut feeling something was off. But I chose to trust her. In the end, she broke up with me for not knowing what was wrong. Sometimes there's literally nothing you can do. In my example, I think she just used it as an excuse to get out for whatever reason, which is fine, I guess, but it can really fuck you up not knowing why someone is leaving, just as much or more as knowing what was wrong. I beat myself up a lot just trying to figure it out. Repeated attempts just to understand led nowhere. All in all, it actually worked out better in the long run because I just chose to improve anything about myself I didn't like or I felt might have been a problem. Now I'm in a better place with some good self-reflection and growth over time. Story 5. My ex once pulled out a diary that she wanted to show me to be open about her thoughts and lay them all on the table. It was legit a full list of all the things she hated about me, written in the most deep and depressing way. About my career, lack of motivation, lack of communication, and how she doesn't find me attractive. Her depression, that was my fault. It was the most deeply hurtful words written in a paragraph, described in such a way that would not paint her as a bad person for saying, plus tears. I get I was going through a bad patch back then, as many were after, but hell. Looking back, nobody should ever treat someone like that. End of the day, I was a 23-year-old with flaws and was still managing to hold our relationship together. We were okay. 3 months after, we break up. I get offered a promotion within my company. 5 months after that, I get offered another huge promotion. I went from 12K pounds to 25K pounds to 30K pounds, and then all the way up to around 55K pounds, all within the last 18 months. I haven't changed one bit either. Would usually never flex, but I'm proud, and the proof is in the paycheck. I'm moving home, going skiing, spending time with mates. My life is good. Turns out those words were a load of shit. I'm sorry to hear about your experience with your ex, and it's too bad that she chose to share her thoughts in such a hurtful way. Nobody deserves to be put down like that, especially by someone who's supposed to love and care for them. However, it's truly inspiring to see how much you've accomplished since breaking up with her. It's a testament to your resilience and determination that you've managed to bounce back and grow both professionally and personally. Your story serves as a powerful reminder that we should never let anyone else's negative opinions define us or limit our potential. Story 6. Having a partner in a relationship who insists that you have to fight in a relationship, otherwise you're not passionate about it. I've never had to deal with that personally. I've been married to my partner for 8 years and we almost never fight, but I heard a friend insist this and I was mortified for her relationships. Reply 1. Ooh, you gave me some good PTSD from my last ex. Pretty sure verbatim, I want you to fight for me to show you care. I need to know you're passionate. It's because she thought I was cheating on her when she and I went to a party together, didn't leave each other's sides, but a friend that's a girl said hi to me, so I must have banged her in the bathroom. Sheesh. Reply 2. I married one like that. She justified her behavior because she had been cheating in all these horrible ways, she said. Turns out it was a serious mental health issue, and she imagines cheating and abuse, then lashes out as if it actually happened. Scary. Even after 10 years of marriage with 2 children and me spending every waking moment with them, she still caused rage fights about the things that never even happened. Example, after I divorced her with a restraining order, she filed a response statement that was make-believe fictional tales of me, the unhinged, dangerous, reckless hubby. I wasn't. Our daughters said Daddy took the babysitter to the bedroom and locked the door and they heard kissing, moaning, and bed shaking. While she was court-ordered out, I had a girl from Care.com come to our house twice per week to help with laundry, keep the kids busy while I handled legal matters. My ex-wife was restrained for 90 days. That was terrifying for my family and I to read. Yep, she told the court our 5 and 8 daughters heard Daddy doing it with the babysitter. It happened in her mind, of course, so let's lie to the court. I see what you did there, sweetie. Also said I squeezed her neck and choked her so she couldn't breathe. Not only did that not happen, it's the exact same story she said about her ex-husband that she recycled and swapped my name in place. Story 7. One person does all of the housework, cooking, chores, childcare, yet the other person continues to complain that they don't do it right. Reply 1. The hardest part is when they have to do it every once in a while, and now you hear, I have been doing this, or I'm the only one doing this. It hurts. Sad face. Story 8. I've had one seriously toxic relationship. It was terrible. For me, what the giveaway was simply how I felt. I realized I felt extremely invalidated constantly with my partner. I was constantly confused as to why they were either so angry or how they came to whatever conclusion they came to. Every situation was turned around on me, even if I came to them with a valid concern. And we get into arguments that literally went in circles, and it almost always ended with extremely passionate with zero resolution of the original issue. Rinse, repeat. Mind is what I would best describe being in a toxic relationship. You know it's bad for you, yet you keep coming back for more, and you can't fully articulate why. For my family, how they could tell me we were in a toxic relationship is how my partner spoke about me. I didn't pick up on it, but I was told to listen to how she talks about me to others. She would lift herself up while almost simultaneously putting me down. Example, yeah, when he's not with me, he's just a normal guy. But when I show up, all eyes are on us. Near the end, I noticed I would lie to friends and family about our relationship and or defend her actions just so that they could like her, and so I didn't feel ashamed for staying with someone like that. It's really unfortunate that you had to experience such a toxic relationship, and I can't imagine how tough it must have been for you. The way you described your constant feelings of invalidation and confusion clearly indicates that something wasn't right in the relationship. The mind aspect you mentioned is a perfect description of how it feels to be trapped in a cycle of toxicity. It's incredibly difficult to break free from that cycle, especially when there are moments that make you feel connected to your partner, like passionate without resolving any issues. Story 9. Inability to take a step back, listen, and analyze the other person's point and actually come to a conclusion during a conflict. Reply 1. This is how my wife is. Literally cannot react or think reasonably during the heat of the moment, whereas I naturally try to seize the moment and learn from it immediately. But she will come back to me later and we'll be able to communicate effectively. Just stinks that we're such opposites when it comes to that. Story 10. So this is a tough one for me currently. I have a generally very loving and kind boyfriend, but when we fight, he just always fights really mean. And he keeps saying I make him yell. I make him this and that. He really freaks out, throws things, hits himself on the head. Quite literally foams out of his mouth because he is so angry and he can't seem to take responsibility for his behavior. I love him very much and want us to work, but sometimes I am scared we might not be able to make it. Because I won't if this doesn't get better. I just don't really know where to draw the line. Hurts to leave when you love him, even if he gets verbally abusive way too often. Story 11. If someone is always talking crap about their partner whenever they aren't together, I've seen this far too many times. It's always ended in total disaster within a few years at most. Reply 1. Ugh, yep. I've listened to so many people complain about their partners, and I just wonder, why are you all together? If I get a chance to talk about my boyfriend, you can bet I'll start dishing out everything I love about him. Reply 2. I'm those people. This has gone on for years, and I'm incredibly depressed and can't bring myself to leave. I have little confidence left in myself, and I'm terrified of having to start from scratch when I feel like this. I simply don't have the emotional bandwidth to deal with the aftermath. I don't talk shit about him every chance I get because I feel guilty, but if the person is open to listening, I end up talking a lot of because I can't really talk to him about anything anymore, so I bottle up a lot. Because every time I try to bring something up, he makes me feel worse than if I didn't say anything. Or the argument ends in absolutely no conclusion, and it ends up being rehashed over and over to no avail. I know it seems incomprehensible from the outside, but on the inside, there's usually at least one person who just can't anymore. Story 12. I had an abusive girlfriend many years ago. She was bipolar, and it caused a lot of problems. I remember the day I realized that things were f***ed. I was driving out of the work parking lot, and my phone rang. My reaction when I saw my girlfriend was calling was, what am I about to get screamed at about now? And sure enough, I answer the phone, and she's immediately screaming at me about some stupid shit I don't even remember. Point is, if contact from your significant other stresses you out because you're expecting to get yelled at, that's a toxic relationship. I'm sorry to hear that you went through such a difficult time with your abusive girlfriend. It's essential for everyone to be treated with respect and kindness in a relationship, and it's clear that this was not the case for you. The fact that you felt stressed and dreaded answering her call is a strong indication that the relationship was unhealthy. Your point about feeling anxious when your significant other contacts you because you're anticipating being yelled at is spot on. That's definitely a sign of a toxic relationship, and it's crucial to recognize these red flags to protect ourselves and our mental health. Thank you for sharing your experience, as it serves as an important reminder for everyone to prioritize their well-being and seek out healthy, loving relationships. I hope you've since found the support and love you deserve in a partner. Story 13. Gaslighting. I found myself taking notes on what girlfriend said because she would constantly change her mind and then tell me I wasn't listening. She'd ask me to pick up multigrain bread from the store. When I would return, she'd ask why I didn't get rye bread and call me incompetent when I said that I heard her ask for multigrain. I started writing down everything, mostly to prove that I wasn't crazy to myself. My notes never proved anything to her, which I couldn't understand. I considered secretly recording our conversations and then took a step back to realize that I needed to leave. Story 14. When one of the partners is always taking joking barbs at their partner. My ex did this. When we were around other people or in social situations, he would laugh and make jokes about my absent-mindedness, obsession with keeping things clean, or any other flaw he could see. It was always done in a laughing manner, but it made me feel shitty. Even worse, later on when I would confront him about it, he would always use the, "I was just joking, can't you take a joke? You have no sense of humor" track. Even when I told him, every time you do that, the love I feel for you gets killed a little bit at a time. He still did it. It took me a year to realize that the reason he did that was because deep down he felt super insecure and felt like he didn't deserve me. So tearing me down was the way that he could put me on his level and try to convince other people that I was the lucky one. I guess hindsight is always 20/20. We have been divorced for over a decade and we have talked about this. But yeah, when I see one of the partners taking barbs at the other to try to prop themselves up, that's a good clue that the relationship is on the rocks. Story 15. Once upon a time, I met the person who seemed to be my dream come true. They were everything I had ever wanted, and I was certain we were destined to be together. But as time went on, I started to notice some red flags that would lead me to the dead giveaway of a toxic relationship. It started with small things. My partner would make subtle comments about my appearance, just enough to make me question my self-worth. I convinced myself that they were only trying to help me improve, but their words lingered in my mind, always making me feel like I wasn't good enough. As our relationship progressed, the manipulation became more apparent. They controlled who I spent time with, isolating me from friends and family. I felt lonely and trapped, but I still believed this was what love was supposed to be. My partner's jealousy turned into possessiveness, and they demanded access to my phone and social media accounts. They monitored my every move, and I found myself constantly walking on eggshells to avoid triggering their anger. It was exhausting, but I was determined to make our relationship work. Then came the ultimatums. My partner would threaten to leave me if I didn't do exactly what they wanted. I was terrified of losing them, so I complied with their demands, sacrificing my own needs and desires in the process. It wasn't until I reached my breaking point that I realized the truth. I was in a toxic relationship. The dead giveaway was the complete erosion of my self-esteem and the feeling that I had lost myself in the process of trying to please my partner. With the help of a therapist and a supportive network of friends, I finally found the strength to end the relationship. It wasn't easy, but I knew it was necessary for my own well-being. In time, I began to heal and rediscover who I was before the toxicity consumed me. So if you ever find yourself questioning your worth or feeling trapped in a relationship, remember my story. Recognize the dead giveaways of a toxic relationship and have the courage to break free. You deserve a love that lifts you up, not one that tears you down. Please leave your story down below in the comments. I would absolutely love to make a video about them in the future. And also don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, peace.